you quickly addressed it with the story from Oklahoma, and I think maybe resharing that it could have got missed. But what is the movement toward giving families full control over creating their own stationary videos and other memorial elements? Are we just making ourselves as a funeral home obsolete in that? And you've got a great answer for this because we extensively talked about this over the last year, and I'm on your side. So tell
I
the
think
people.
what I think there's two clear reasons why you do this, and I think both of them are kind of very valid. And this is probably the most common question I have with funeral professionals at the moment about this, because it is a change. It's a change in behavior and how things have always traditionally been done. And the easy first answer we can drop off is there are, disposal or cremation or even service options where it does not make any sense for the funeral arranger to currently do that. As fast and as quick as I can make tribute creation, just to even to sit there and back and forth with the family and get the photos can take time. And to be honest, with cremation, often the service itself or the celebration of life or whatever the family may be having can be weeks or months after the disposal process. So for the funeral home to be involved that far down the line makes no sense. Whereas if they have a direct self-access portal that they can do it in their own time, that they can go back to when someone's back from deployment or someone's back from, a shift away, or the family is ready to process that grief because, it's been something to come through, that is that ability sitting there ready to go. So in that sense, I think that makes it works well, because there's no way for a funeral home to be involved at that point. But for the other more traditional reason, and what this is giving the family access. It's not passing on a task, it's giving the opportunity to be involved in that process, which can have such actually cathartic benefits when you remove the pain points, when the difficulty that it has been of creation. To sit there, Ben tells a story really nicely of coming together with his grandparent family and having all the photos there and discussing them together and telling the stories and telling that history together as they created the slideshow. And that it was a really kind of lovely family moment to look back and sit and reflect as they put that together. And then, of course, everybody wanted a copy of that video. Or it's sometimes it's just giving someone who needs to be involved. They need a task. They need something to do at that moment to keep themselves busy. And by giving them that opportunity to help tell their story, to help kind of reflect back on how special that person was, it is so valuable. Is family self-service creation right for every case? Absolutely not. But for many cases, or often it is there, or it's a hybrid model where it kind of comes through. And that's what we're saying is you don't have to set that up as every time. But for the family that does want to be involved, it's a lot better if they're being involved in a version you have oversight with, rather than a version they take it home and they do completely separately and you hope turns up and looks okay. For a family who do want to have those, little flourishes or changes, or the family who want to make a tweak every kind of 30 seconds, it can just open that opportunity up. And it's a case of working with them and enabling them to tell that story. And we can turn limitations on. There's also a fear, okay, if we have a family do it, they might make a 2-hour video or they might make a 50-page booklet. And that's fine. If you sit there and say, hey, Nick, I don't want to make any videos longer than 8 minutes. Cool, great, that's fine. We'll just turn that on as a limiter for your account. Or, hey, we don't want to be able to upload too many of these, whatever that kind of might be. So it really does. And yeah, I go back to the funeral director I was chatting with yesterday at Oklahoma, who, how do I meet him? Probably met him 3-4 months ago, and he was very skeptical about family self-service. But he signed on and started using it kind of as in-house, and he gave a few families access. And he was saying to me that he was surprised at just how positive the reaction was of the family being able to, and they said it was this thank you of, being able to create it, to come together to produce something because they wanted that access. So it's not a case of forcing it on a family or saying they must, but for a family who'd like it, for a family who'd like to be involved, for whatever reason that may be, telling the story, the need to own the job, to have that kind of cathartic process, for someone who has that control or just design experience, it really does open that option up. And for little things, and then obviously there's huge time-saving benefits for funeral directors. Hey, I want to move photo 13 to photo 8. Hey, okay, now I want to do this. Hey, sure. One-click drag. I mean, of course, it's only one-click drag for the funeral director as well. But if you've got so many families coming through all the time, it sits there. It's a choice. It is absolutely not something that everyone needs to do or take on. But to have it there in your back pocket, even if it's something you only use as part of the review design process, you've created it in its entirety, and the family can just come through and make any final tweaks, checks, spellings, whatever that might be. It's there as an option. But certainly for our direct cremation partners who've been some of our kind of earliest signups over here in the United States were kind of direct cremation platforms who wanted to have a way of still offering that tribute, the memorialization process to families. But, you know, when you're looking at what the kind of case revenue of one of those is, dedicating someone to do that doesn't work. So they can just sit there with a single email link, give the families the choice to run through. And then that does obviously open up post-revenue cremation options, post-tribute cremation options, whether that is selling the printing, whether that's video books, whether it's photo albums, you know, keepsakes. All of these can then, particularly in some of those kind of low revenue kind of cases and opportunity, make quite a difference to what that line item is. But they're beautiful, meaningful pieces that are connected. It's not kind of stuff that's throwing away. It's personalized and unique to them. And it has, you know, helps tell their story and continue that memory.